Hello to families. This week on Community Chat, Hagen Nares PLC, truck wreck and brain injury lawyers, is speaking with Brett Ross. Brett Ross is many things, but we know him best for owning Full Cool Roofing, a reputable quality roofing company servicing Colorado-wide, and for being a board advisor for Camo College, a nonprofit that takes a proactive approach to reducing post-service issues such as veteran suicide and veteran homelessness. Brett is here to talk about his journey to becoming the owner of a reputable business in this community, as well as a nonprofit advisor. He will tell you about what it's like being a customer of Full Cool Roofing and how to volunteer and support Camo College. And he will provide a training tidbit to our community members. Brett is a great person to know. He is not only someone that I look towards as being a mentor to me, an entrepreneur, but also a generally wonderful person. I call him not only a friend, you're a brother to me, and I appreciate you being here. There is so much that you can offer the community with regards to not only building a really successful business, but also being an advisor to a nonprofit that's doing some amazing work. So we're going to talk about both, if that's okay. But we can't really get into both without knowing your journey, because I think both what you do with Full Cool Roofing and Camo College is really based on your background and who you are as a person. So I'd love for you to just share a little bit about your journey into getting to where we are right now.
Absolutely. Well, I grew up in Western Colorado, out in the Grand Junction area. I graduated from Palisade High School in December of '05. I grew up in a family that did a lot of like fun, close to home traveling, camping excursions. So I grew a strong passion for the outdoors at a young age. Did a lot of fishing and hunting and camping, and did activities with Boy Scouts and church groups and whatnot. So that was always kind of my passion, is to be outdoors. That kind of trickled over into my post high school life. I loved playing baseball. I wasn't the best student. Uh, really wasn't the best student. I just didn't really put out the effort in. If it was sports, I was 110% in. If it was school, I was pretty lackadaisical about it. So I looked at other options because I knew that performing at a college academic level was probably not in the cards for me at the time. So I decided to look into other avenues. And one of those avenues was the military. I had met with several other recruiters of all the branches, actually, and eventually ended up landing on the Marine Corps. So that kind of went into my being outdoors and the surviving thing and all that stuff. So I joined the Marine Corps at 18 and shipped off to boot camp in the fall of '06. And then after that went to infantry school, and then after infantry school to my specialized school, and then eventually to my unit. So was in the Marine Corps from 2006 to 2010. Had combat deployments to Iraq, and kind of wraps up my wasted youth in my 20s running around and being a wild man. But after my time in the Marine Corps, I tracked down this girl that I thought was pretty cute in middle school and high school and didn't want anything to do with me at the time, and started talking to her again on the newfound social media platform, Facebook. So I got back in touch with her and struck up conversations again. And we eventually, when I moved back to Colorado from where I was stationed in 29 Palms, California, moved back to Colorado and started dating Miss Kirsty. And now it's 9 years together, 9 years married this year, 14 years together, 2 little kiddos. So I always tell everybody I won. She tried to get away. Her Indian name is Tataga, the one that almost got away. So we've now live and reside in Colorado, but we kind of chased our career path. She went to Colorado School of Mines, finished up there, and we both ended up in oil and gas. And we kind of traveled the country together, oftentimes having the same address but working in different parts of the country. So we were in Texas, Wyoming, Colorado. We were all over the place. And in 2015, I had gotten laid off from my position in oil and gas. There was a big downturn. And so I saw the writing on the wall and knew it was coming. Kind of made some game plans, but wasn't really sure. Thought I was maybe going to be able to ride it out. And inevitably I wasn't. So 2015, I decided to go back to school. I went and challenged myself from not being a good student to having to relearn a lot of things that I missed in high school and then develop some better study habits. I got my bachelor's of science in digital cinematography. I wanted to travel the world and film wildlife and the great outdoors and whatnot. So I did that for a little while. I actually ended up in Spain for a month. I filmed a Saudi Arabian prince's month-long adventure in Spain. It was pretty awesome. Had a great time, but I started to get this feeling that it just wasn't for me. I was very passionate about the film and my projects, but I had difficulty working for other people and being able to put my passion and my hard work on display the way I wanted to. So kind of came into this head where I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but in the meantime, Kirsty's job had transferred her down to Houston, Texas. So I was finishing up my degree program, and we were living down in Texas away from family and friends, and where it's really blasted hot. If you're not a humidity person, just don't even go to Houston. It's not for you. I'll just get that. So while I was down there, I started working with the company in construction. Through high school, I did a lot of concrete and some framing and stuff. So I had a good construction background. So I decided that I'd get a job in something that I knew while I was finishing up my degree program. And I ended up in roofing. I found a spot with a company there in the area that was looking for some new project managers. And so I decided to go interview, and I did very well, got hired on the spot, and started project management for this company, learned a lot about the industry. And short time after I started, Hurricane Harvey happened. And so it went from nothing to everything all at once. And so I kind of got thrown into the fire, sink or swim, and went right at it and did very, very well. Learned the job very quickly, learned that it was something that I liked to do in an aspect that I understood it very well. I was very good at it. And there was people that had problems. Their ceilings were falling in. One story I vividly remember from Harvey was customer David. His young daughter he had two young kids, and daughter was coming into the room and saying, "Dad, it's really noisy." And he just said, "Go back to bed, sweetheart. It's fine. It's just the wind." And finally, they brought her into bed. And that portion of their roof had been torn off by the high winds. There was a tornado in the area from the hurricane, the outliner of the hurricane, tore off the roof over her bedroom, and there was so much water penetration that the ceiling actually collapsed on her bed.
Oh my God.
So, that next day I'm out there and making sure that the room's watertight and, doing the cleanup and making sure that she could sleep in her bedroom again, in the coming days. So that made me feel good. And that's just one of many stories, but I was doing a job that was helping somebody. And that it kind of made me feel like this was my new home. It was going to be my new thing for a while. I didn't expect it to be this long. Like, as I said, I thought I was going to be traveling the world shooting IMAX feature films. But it kind of transitioned. I started building on that base that I had, the customer base and the referral base, and being able to help more and more people. And it just kind of platonically grew. in 2018, my wife had an opportunity to transfer back to Colorado. And so I really wanted to do that. I missed the family, the friends. I missed, the beautiful, pretty much everything that everybody moves to Colorado for. That's what I missed. Uh, so I had an opportunity to move back. I went to the owner of that company and said, "Hey, look, like we have this opportunity to move back home. Really thinking about taking it, but not really, sure because we've got a good thing going on here as well." And he just said, "Here's the keys. Don't wreck it." I was like, "Holy smokes." So I came out here and started up a branch for that company. Um, Got to be close to home, not quite home, but in the Denver area, about 4 hours away. And we started building a life here in the Denver area together. And the higher and the more involved I was with this company, the more I realized that we found some misalignments, and I didn't really agree with a lot of their business practices or whatnot. So I decided that I was going to step away and find something different. And I ended up finding an opportunity with a startup company to help build their roofing company. So I said, "This is great. This is an opportunity for me to get my foot right in the door and do things the way I know they should be done." This second time now in a brief amount of time where I ran into the film thing not working out because I'm like, no, not what I want to do. And then I go with the roofing. So I was getting fairly discouraged, but once we started the new venture and it grew, I knew that we had something very special, that we were doing something very neat. We were treating and interacting with our customers much differently than I know uh, other contractors or other companies are doing. And so that was very nice, I guess. It kind of felt like I had that at home feeling for the first time. So um, that was in uh, 2021, late 2021, beginning of 22. And uh, throughout the process, that's now grown into this beautiful thing that is Full Curl Roofing Company. And we have anywhere from 180 to 200. I think last year was 202 clients. So we are bringing more and more people into the Full Curl Roofing family every day. So it's been a fantastic experience and just blessed to be sitting where I am.
I think that's fantastic. And I love your background because when you're a very Renaissance man, you have a lot of interests. But I think it's funny you talking about that you're not really good at school because you probably are one of the nerdiest people that I've ever met when you talked about like weather and like all of that stuff. You truly have a really, really sound knowledge of everything that needs to be known in the roofing industry. But also, you gained a lot of expertise when you were in the military. That just shows your ability to take something and master it. Um, and your passions for military didn't end when you got out. That's why I wanted to also touch on kind of the journey with regards to Camo to college, because this all goes towards your reputation, which is stellar, for doing quality work with regards to full color roofing, but also wanting to devote time and energy with regards to those serious issues that happen post service. And so, tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Camo to college and just what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I served with the two founders of Camo College in the Marine Corps. Uh, and we always kept in touch a little bit. I had gotten out, my time of service ended before theirs. They got out a few years later. So we're close friends, always kept in contact. When I had a tough transition when I first got out. Uh, I had planned to do a lot more years in the Marine Corps than I did. Um, I just did my 4 and got out. And going into the service, I had planned to be a lifer or a career Marine. I had some things that kind of broke my spirits and heart or whatever. So I kind of ended up in this little funk. Um, and what's unique about my journey leaving the service to my college education is that it's not unique at all. I fall right into the main statistic of veterans leaving service. So I guess how I got started is I had a rough go at it. I had a rough time transitioning. Just trudged through, and veterans that have had that kind of different transition understand that, like, just trudging through, just get through it. Like, it's just live to die another day. Like, just got to get through today. And that was kind of a lot of my mindset. And then when Josh and Casey started Camo to College, I was like, what is this? Kind of looked into it. What are they doing? Awesome. And dug into it a little bit more. Like you said, if I find something that piques my interest, I just go all in, dive right into it and nerd out. And I found this really unique study that showed the veteran suicide rate from directly related to the veteran's education level.
Mm-hmm.
And so the huge portion of the veteran suicide that we see, the lion's share of that, is our high school educated and GED veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Takes up a huge percentage of it. If a veteran uses their GI Bill benefits or has any kind of secondary education, such as trade school or associates, we see a very small percentage drop in that. We see a huge percentage drop once a veteran has obtained a bachelor's degree. And then by the time we get to a doctorate, through master's to doctorate, it's almost non-existent.
Okay.
And so why is that? And these numbers are all per capita. So we started digging into it, and I started thinking about my own journey. I said, you know what? I really started to turn my life around and really get a grasp on adulting once I'd had gone through my degree program. And it gave me a mission. It gave me structure. It gave me a lot of the things that I was missing punching a 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
or a 6 to 6 clock, and so I closely related with that and started volunteering more with Camo to College. And as one of the main things we did is I now help throw or plan and throw the fundraising events, like our golf tournaments that we do. We throw usually 3 a year here in the Denver area, one in Kansas City and one in Dallas, where Casey and Josh both live. And so I got more involved with that, and it's just, again, we've got the right community around it, and it started to grow, and we're able to help take veterans and educate veterans leaving the service and place them in a good degree program and get them through that scary bridge, right? Or be the bridge to cross that initial danger area that they face when they leave the service. So it's a lot of the education benefits, for veterans are free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet 73% of our veterans leaving active service don't even use them. So if we can take that 73% and reduce their suicide risk just by getting them into a degree program or focusing on a career path or an education path that makes sense for them or that they're interested in, instead of just falling into a 9 to 5 or something, we truly do believe in our heart to hearts that we can make a difference. So we're just coming at it in a very niche area.
I think that's fantastic what you're doing. And all of this was really relevant to just talking about the person you are, the reputation that you hold, and what is valued of you. And that is really leading into the second question, which is, now that we know about you, what is important to you, and what your journey has been, it is, what is the unique experience coming to Full Coat Roofing or volunteering for Camo to College? What can people expect if they were to become your customer, and also if they were to become a volunteer?
Absolutely. So I'm not a cliquey person, right? So I think that that's part of the thing with my industry is it's very, as far as the roofing side, and obviously, honestly, for the not-for-profit as well, it's very cliquey, and you almost have like your target audience that you're going after, and yada yada. For me, I am a very real person. I put my pants on the same way as everybody else. I don't think anybody is better than anybody. I've seen the best of people and the worst of people in the same person.
Mhm.
So it's very, for me, I just want to be a welcoming fresh start to whatever you might need, whether you're that veteran looking for some assistance or you're that homeowner looking to have some work done on what's potentially your largest investment besides your family,
Mhm.
your home or your business. And so I know that in either circumstance, there's stressful times or whatnot, and I just want to be the voice of calm if I can be, and just say, look, I've seen it 100,000 times. Doesn't matter, right? Let's get through this. Let's just do it. Um, and so we'll be very transparent, very upfront and honest with you, and caring, because we don't want to be the biggest roofing company. We want to be the best. And we say that in the quality of our work and the quality of care of our customers. You know, um, now in my industry, there's a lot of it's construction. A lot of things go wrong a lot of times, right? Even when you have all the proper steps to play. So we'll, in a case to where a stressful situation, we tear the homeowner's roof off, and now we find mold or something like that in the decking, and we're going, oh no, this problem just got worse. A bad day just got worse, right? So now, how do we quickly, efficiently move through this issue and take care of the customer and the issue at hand with little impact to the customer as possible, whether that be financially or stress or time, whatever it is, so that we can get through it, move on, and leave you with a smile on your face. So that's kind of our goal. We don't cookie cutter everybody, because Caitlin's roof and project might be much different than Bob's and JM's, and so it's something that we pay attention to, and we take each customer in on a case by case basis. You're not a number. You're part of the full Curl family at that point.
Well, I think that's fantastic. And I uniquely have been both a customer of yours for my roof and also kind of tried to support at Camo to College as well as a sponsor. And I could say in both situations, the care and the attention that you have was outstanding, to making sure that whether I was a customer or maybe a sponsor, that I felt heard and that I felt valued. And so you do a fantastic job with that. And you're very attuned to what people are seeing out there, what their needs are, and kind of addressing their concerns head on before they even bring it up, which leads to our training tidbit. And I know that you have some things that just keep popping up over and over again. Like what I say is when I meet people for the first time, that maybe are catastrophically injured, I kind of know 3 or 4 things that they're going to bring up because it happens over and over again. And you're no different. And so I wanted you to address some training tidbits that you can share with the community at large now before we leave. Um, and it's things that you want people to know even before it happens. They may not need a new roof today, but you want to be aware. You want them to be aware of this. And so I'd love you to share anything that you would think would be relevant for all of us to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with as far as full coral roofing and the roofing industry itself, I've written some articles on it and whatnot, but there's a big problem with certain companies, which are kind of set up as more of a roofing sales company than an actual roofing contractor, and they do business under this cloak of roofing contractor, right? Um, and we see that a lot in the door-to-door sales after a big storm. You'll get a lot of door knockers and canvassers. We've quite literally seen with my own eyes. I've seen it. They get a bus full of canvassers, pull up to a damaged area, pop open the doors, let them go out, and just knock doors and line up appointments.
Mhm.
Um, it's effective, and those companies make very good money doing that, but it's not a business practice we'll ever implement, because I think we lose that touch. And I urge and encourage homeowners to please do their research. Don't go with the first guy. Nobody's in a rush, and it's your home. Do your research. Interview your contractors. Ask questions about them, because from the start to the finish of that project, that's going to be who's taking care of your home. You want to make sure that they have your best interest at heart and not theirs.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, something that I always tell my guys and my kiddos is you can never be wrong by doing the right thing.
Mhm.
So, and that we truly stand by that. If you're doing the right thing, the compensation will follow. But we wake up every day not looking at our bank account. We wake up every day looking at, how we can help somebody. That's all we're here to do. So I urge folks, Colorado Roofing Association has some great resources for homeowners. They can pop on there. They have a flyer, kind of just gives you something to tape to your door if you're in a storm area that says, stop, don't knock my door. I'm going to research roofing companies, whatever. So that's a big one for the roofing side and the roofing industry. Just do your due diligence, do some research, ask around, get some really strong referrals, and try to find your contractor through those avenues rather than how many billboards or wrapped lifted trucks you see on the road.
Exactly.
So as far as veteran care and Camo to College, last year's tournament, which thank you so much for your sponsorship, being out there, interacting with all the golfers on the hole, and interacting with our veterans that were playing and stuff. It was fantastic. So forever grateful for your support. But last year we had a very unique experience where there was a Vietnam veteran. We were there to raise money to combat veteran suicide. That's what we're there for, right? And there's months and months of planning. I'm currently planning this year's tournament right now. So there's a lot of time going into this to raise those funds. And we had a gentleman that heard about it the day before, just showed up that morning to the golf course and said, hey, do you have room for one more? I said, yeah, absolutely. Come on. Actually had a spot on the Full Curl Roofing Company team. So we tossed him on there with my guys, and I kind of gave him the warning, like, hey, it's a rowdy bunch. Watch out. Have fun at your own risk. And he was a Vietnam vet, and he was struggling. Mm-hmm. And he just decided to show up and play a round of golf. So at 6 a.m, he showed up to play a round of golf, and it was a fantastic day. Towards the end of that, I'm getting chills just talking about it. Towards the end of it, I was talking to the group after the tournament about veteran suicide, giving them some hard statistics, asking them to check in on their veterans. And he just got up and walked up to me and said, can I say something? I said, absolutely. Handed him the microphone. And he thanked everybody for being there and told everybody, how veteran suicide is a real thing. We all talk about it, but we'll talk about it and then we'll move on with our day. And he just said it's a real thing. Keep those veterans in mind, talk to them, reach out to them, touch them, just make sure, touch in with them, make sure that they're there. And it was a reminder for me that all this 6 months of planning, whatever, it could have just been for that one guy. Mm-hmm. It was all worth it. And so I guess for my tidbit for Camo to College, everybody listening to this has known a service member or knows a service member or somebody that has served or whatever. Just have a normal conversation. We don't want you to pick up the phone and say, hey, Brett, are you okay? Are your screws tight? Just call in and check in with us. Sometimes that's all we need is that comfortable voice and just to have a conversation and reconnect with our loved ones, Yeah. So, reach out and touch your veteran, touch base with them, talk to them for a little bit, keep in touch. And then that opens up that line of communication forever. If they ever do struggle, they know that you're there for them. So.
Well, I think that's fantastic. You're truly amazing. I appreciate you so much being in my life. And we are going to include all the information for both Full Curl Roofing and Camo to College in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here. I know Brett personally will be available if anybody has any questions with regards to any issues with regards to your roof or wanting to be involved with Camo to College. So I'll include his information as well. So thank you, Brett, so much for being a part of this today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love the podcast. So I was honored to be on it. So thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.